Alright, hey guys, and welcome back to another eBay video. The theme of this video, we're actually just going to be scrolling through and checking out what's actually selling on eBay. What are people buying these days? What are the prices of things? Maybe we'll catch some games that are going way cheaper than they used to, or maybe way more expensive than they used to. But I thought it would be a kind of fun idea to just take a look and check out some of the more interesting listings on eBay. And right off the bat here, and just to let you know what I'm just searching for rare. I love rare as a search because it just gives you such a wide array of different listings. Apparently, if you have this copy of Rocket League on PC, I'm sure not a lot of you do, $140. I would have never expected that. And this is even more surprising for me, $55 for Splinter Cell Double Agent. Now, I'm not going to lie, if I was in a thrift store or a retro game store and I saw that in a bargain bin for $5, I would pass by it. So this is why I love looking through sold listings, because once in a while you stumble upon games like that where you have no idea, right? And that way if you ever see it, you know that it's worth a lot more. Godzilla on PS4 is still going really strong. I'm sure some of you may remember my video from back in the day where I talked about the game and reviewed it when it came out, when everybody was hating on it and slamming it. Look at it now. I mean, for Godzilla fans, this is like a holy grail kind of game, at least for US game releases. Great game. I love Godzilla on PS4. Halo 2600, never played it, but that's always had a really sort of like high demand, really high price for that. Atari collectors, boy, they don't play around. There's some really expensive homebrews out there. Okay, apparently a Korean version of Jack 2 sold for $40 plus shipping. I have been noticing that a lot of these kind of oddities when it comes to not even just the Japanese versions, but like game versions from China, Korea. Like there's some really high priced ones out there that are selling just because I guess it's like a rare variant and people are collecting the variants. Well, that's a good price for Gungrave. That has either gone down massively in price or somebody got a really good steal on that. Unfortunately, we're going to get a lot of these digital items like Roblox stuff, unfortunately. Wow, this game's been selling a lot. Raid Lom. I'm gonna have to look into like the digital version of that, but I've been noticing quite a few copies of that selling. $500 for Fox Hunt. I can't say if playing Fox Hunt is worth $500, but it's a really entertaining game. One of the rarest PS1 games out there, and if you've never played it before and you're into really cheesy games, I do recommend you check it out. Here's a Black Label jewel case version of Twisted Metal. If you have this version, congrats, you got the rarest PS1 version of Twisted Metal. The greatest hits is worth a lot less, but if you have the jewel case with the Black Label, it's worth a lot, and yet it goes for anywhere between $100 to $150 right now. Oh, of course, there's Concord still selling. That was on September 3rd. So yeah, the this is, I think this is sort of by best match, just to kind of give us a nice mishmash here. Um, oh no, it is actually sort of by endings recently. I don't know why something from September 3rd would show up, but whatever. Wow, okay, this game, I don't know what's up with this horror game. My goodness. Selling left and right. Okay, there's one of the holy grails for Xbox, Teen Titans. One of the last games released, and really rare, really expensive. $210 with disc scratches. Played Signalis last year. I would recommend it. I kind of burnt out on the game towards the end, but it was a really good, different kind of take on a top-down isometric survival horror game. Man, Super Nintendo manuals, they are not joking around. Twisted Tales of Spike McFang manual only, $125. I can remember when you can get that game complete in box for like 60. What in the world? I've seen this game before, but I had no idea they've ever made a plush for it. There's the game, little Fin. Apparently, they made a plush in Japan. That is cute as heck. Is it $500 cute? It is not. They had a best offer accepted, but holy smokes, that is obscure. You're probably never going to see another one of these again. That is indeed rare, as the search term checks out. Here's the red artwork version of Ride and Trad. Interesting little story with this game. So right here is the original artwork for the game. See how it's got like some bright pinks and reds and greens and everything? Well, interestingly enough, there's a cover variant that looks like this. They actually reissued the game later on, and they actually put a little note inside. This does not include the note, which is like the best part about owning this version. But look, it even uses the old manual. but they re-released it with a different cover art, I guess to try and convey a different mood and feel for the game. Maybe it wasn't selling as well as they thought it would, but they actually included a note with this re-release that said, "Hey, just to let you know, this is a re-release. We're changing the box art to kind of like better reflect the feeling of our game. You know, hope you don't mind stuff like that." I'm kind of paraphrasing here, but it's a cool little story behind the Redbox version of Ride and Trad. What in the heck is this? I have never seen this before. This has got to be like a new DS game, right? What is this? Tofu Collection? Uh, 2012. Wow, okay. I have never seen this before. A puzzle game compilation, a rare find. Hours of fun with their little AI description. Yeah, I've never seen that before. You learn something new every day on eBay. Apparently, you got people asking all kinds of obscene prices for this, but I'm gonna have to check this one out. The cover and the title just look absolutely crazy. Looks like somebody paid $1,500 for a sealed in the box Sega Saturn. So for those of you out there that are curious about these kind of things, I personally don't really follow console prices too much these days, but it looks like two of them actually sold mint complete in the box, like minty as mint can get. $1,500. So that is the going rate if you happen to have a sealed Sega Saturn in your closet or something. Look at this Super Nintendo controller. Oh my goodness. I'm sure the person that bought this is not buying it to actually use it, because that looks like it may be one of the most uncomfortable Super Nintendo controllers I've ever seen. High Speed Deluxe Super Smart Pad. Best offer accepted, $40. Yeah. More of a collector's item for sure. Somebody paid $600 for a Mario Brothers 3 tin trash can. How's the artwork? Wow, okay. It's got some amazing artwork. I've never seen that artwork before for Super Mario Brothers. You got the whole Koopa ship on there with all the Koopa kids. That's actually pretty amazing. Even though it looks like it's got some stains in the bottom, as an old trash can would. But wow, what an actual artifact this thing is. I'm sure it's going to a home that's really going to appreciate it. Better for that price. Wow, that's beautiful. And I'm definitely slightly jealous. This is a N-Gage QD store display kiosk. Sign up today to play the N-Gage Arena 1999. Wow, what games is it advertising? Ghost Recon? Actually not a bad game on the N-Gage. The Island Tropical Thunder, whatever game they call the subtitle was. Tiger Woods and The Sims Bustin' Out. They could have advertised a few better games on there. But wow, it's always cool to see stuff like this, especially for these failure consoles that never really went anywhere. It's just a fun little talk piece. Wow, it actually works. Oh, and it's running Xanadu Next. Okay. I wasn't expecting it to actually work. This has got to be pretty rare. I'm assuming it's going to a nice home for an N-Gage collector. And speaking of kiosks, somebody sent an offer. Unfortunately, can't see the price here on eBay's website at least, but let's just say it probably went for a few $1,000s. A Game Boy Advance kiosk, which they have the original box and inserts and everything for. Wow, I could see why somebody might have got this one if it had Metroid Fusion. Don't know what they paid. I'm not going to look it up, but it's just kind of cool to see. Really nice kiosk as well. Okay, so here's something that's going for way more money than I would have expected. Gauntlet Dark Legacy on the original Xbox is selling for, yeah, and other sellers are also asking similar prices. $60 plus $6 shipping. I was unaware that this was going for so much money on Xbox. I grew up playing the PlayStation 2 version, but this is just kind of good to know because the PlayStation 2 version hovers in the $20 to $30 price range. So this is practically double the price if you ever come across this one or own it yourself. Generally, though, the Xbox versions of games do command more of a higher premium sometimes because they do perform a bit better than the PlayStation 2 versions. So sometimes it's understandable why they're sometimes double the price. If you've ever questioned the things you've been buying on eBay, you can rest easy knowing that there's somebody out there making worse purchases than you. Because somebody bought 10 copies of Connect Adventures that also seem to be water damaged for $14. Free shipping, maybe they bought it for the cases. Maybe the price of $14 free shipping for 10 Connect purple cases. We'll just assume that's why they bought it. This is just a heads up for those of you that may, most of you probably don't, but if you happen to ever get into the last Skylanders game that ever came out, Skylanders Imaginators, people are paying big money for those last figures that they ever released. Like this one here is brand new in the box. It's a limited like employee edition, but that's besides the point. Most of these Skylanders Imaginators figures, even if you have them loose, not in the box, they go for a good amount of money. So if you happen to have bought them yourself back when Skylanders was still a thing, right before it died, be sure to check your collection because you might have a little mini gold mine on your hands. And just because I showed the Xbox version earlier, we might as well show this GameCube copy of Dark Legacy that sold for 102 bidding. GameCube always got to show up the Xbox and the PS2. It's like, hold my wave bird. I'm going to show them $102. Oh, good old GameCube taxes. Somebody did buy a copy of Toy Story 2 Greatest Hits. Many of you probably know at this point that it is one of the hardest PS1 Greatest Hits to get a hold of, and people are still buying it, $250. So if you have this in your collection or if you ever come upon it in the wild, make sure you snatch it up. It is extremely rare. What is Xbox Stadium Seat Bleacher Chair? What? That's one of the most unique pieces of Xbox merchandise I've ever seen. So it's a portable seat cushion for Xbox. Oh wow, it actually folds up. That's crazy. That's really cool. I've never seen that before. Man, I'm gonna be honest. I was unaware that there are people out there spending $86 on Shenmue. This is news to me. Back the last time I saw prices on this, it was going for like $30 to $40. Um, it looks like there are still copies going for, maybe around that price, but $86 for a seemingly mint condition copy, excellent condition. It's a classic though, and I don't blame anybody for wanting to play it on the original console it released on. In case you've ever wondered what one of the most rare and sought after games on the PlayStation 3 is, it would be this copy of Rain. Not Heavy Rain, Lost in Rain. We never got a physical copy here that released in the United States. We just got a digital version of the game. Great game. I've played it before. It's a great little horror adjacent game. Reminds a lot of people of Eco in some ways because you're kind of leading a character around with you through the whole game. It's got some stealth elements in it. Got some great soundtrack, great music, great visual effects, but it's one of the hardest to get games a physical copy of, and people will pay big money to get the Asian release of the game that isn't English. But if you want a physical, you got to pay up. This is a sealed version. You can get it cheaper if it's unsealed, but yeah, keep your eyes out there for it. This one here is not in English, so if you want that English copy, as they say right on the cover here, English and Chinese, it's going to be hard to track down. This is just funny. I love looking at promo items on eBay for obscure stuff. Didn't have this one on my bingo card, and two of them sold. There's Haze Promotional Mints, a box of candy mints for Haze on PlayStation 3. Just when you think you've seen it all. And I guess a good thing to end on would be what's the current market price for Panzer Dragoon? Because a bidding auction for the game with no cracks in the case or seemingly any major issues to the copy of the game. Let's just take a look at the description. 99-cent auction with no reserve. Okay. Doesn't mention anything about bad condition. So this is a really good indicator of what Panzer Dragoon Saga is going for. And, a lot of people are always curious about the price of this game. And it looks like, as of right now, September 2024, $965 plus $9 shipping. So figure right around that $1,000 mark, kind of where it's been for quite a long time now. One of those games where if you have a Sega Saturn, you kind of just like dream of owning and playing this game. But I think this will be a really good place to stop for this video. If you enjoyed this video and you want more content like this, hunting eBay, taking a look at things that are selling, what's going on with the prices of games, and doing a little bit of hunting myself here and there, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you're new here. And thank you to all of you for checking out the video. I'll see you in the next one.